It is 4:40 here, 20 minutes before 5 o'clock on the shift on this Monday afternoon. Well, OPP are set to launch a website next year that's going to name high-risk offenders. The province of Ontario has tabled legislation that will allow the OPP commissioner to publish information on offenders whenever a police chief in the province issues a community notification. That's part of an omnibus justice bill tabled today by Solicitor General Michael Kerzner, and he joins us now. Hi, Michael.
It's great to be with you, Patty.
Glad to have you here. This is a big bill. This, is not just like this is the only thing in there. This is a wide-ranging bill. A lot of things in here that we can go through. But we start with this one that is going to allow the OPP to publish information. A lot of people are happy to hear this, who want to know more information on offenders. So tell me about it. What it'll allow.
Well, there's three things we want to achieve by making this change. Number one, we want to improve public awareness. Number two, we want to help communities stay informed about significant public safety risks. And thirdly, Patty, we want to enhance transparency while supporting the police-led community notification efforts. And, this goes back really a long time, and I think you and I spoke about it on your show when Premier Harris passed 25 years ago, Christopher's Law. So we want to make sure that we improve public awareness of threats to high-risk offenders in their community.
So let's go a little further on that and go over Christopher's Law.
Well, Christopher's Law goes back to a terrible situation where Christopher Stevenson was abducted and killed. A young boy, and Premier Harris heard the plea, and around 2000 they passed the first iteration of a law that people would then be on a list of high-risk offenders, people that committed horrible atrocities, and this was followed by the federal government put up a sex offenders registry as well. And what we did through actually, Patty, not only this piece of spring legislation, but in prior legislations that we brought forward to strengthen Christopher's Law, that is to hold people who are high-risk offenders, sex offenders, to account. We don't want them changing their names. We don't want them assuming that they can hide on social media. So we kind of locked those barn doors, and now we're going forward by making changes to the public to introduce for the first time a public website for high-risk offenders that would be run by the OPP.
So let's move on and talk about, there's so many things in here that I want to talk about. One of those things also is to allow restraining orders that have been issued, say, in Alberta or Saskatchewan. Somebody moves here, that kind of goes with them. So it would be able to be enforced here in Ontario without having to go through the courts again, right?
Well, that's exactly right. We want to close the gaps in protection. We want to improve safety for victims moving to Ontario by allowing restraining orders from other provinces to be enforced in Ontario without a court order. And it makes protections available faster. I think this is a great thing.
Also, this is a big one. I know it's a near and dear topic to our listeners, is that you're also going to ban medically unnecessary procedures on animals, cat decline, dog ear cropping, unless, of course, it has something to do with, some kind of health issue that they need. But this is effectively going to stop those procedures, right?
Yeah, there's three procedures, and you've mentioned them. The ear cropping, altering your voice box, and the decline. And we think this is just another example where our government has strengthened animal welfare, and to reduce these unnecessary medical procedures is important. Our province, is umbilically tied to their pet animals, and I'm part of that. I'm part of that group, and we want to make sure that the message is that people should love their pets and they should care for them, because in many respects, like in our family, the pets are part of the family. But we want to make sure that we send a message, and we have, Patty, through prior pieces of legislation, that people have to respect the intent of caring for your pets and animals. And when you cross the line, there's going to be consequences.
And I know that there's groups and activists out there for a long time that have been pushing for this, to do this. And quite truthfully, I thought that some of this was illegal. I thought cat declawing was illegal, but found out that, it wasn't. And it wasn't till just a couple of years ago that I even knew about this procedure to stop dogs from barking by devocalizing them. And I was horrified to hear that was happening.
No, I agree, and that's why we've come forward and we've sent a message that's not new. When we brought in the Provincial Animal Welfare Act, the PAWS Act, we sent a message that we will hold those offenders to account when they don't follow the law and treat their pets with respect. We've engaged stakeholder consultations, and we continue to engage with our stakeholders. And this is just another step. It's a further example of how we've strengthened the animal welfare laws.
I thought, and I think that most veterinarians in Ontario were not doing these procedures, but I think there was still some out there, because every once in a while I'd see on social media somebody say, "Oh, if you check with this vet, in a particular community, you can get that done." I'm thinking, oh boy, there's got to be a time where that has to be stopped. So I appreciate hearing that that's going on. What else in this bill? There's a lot to it. So what other things would you like to bring to our attention that's in this bill?
Well, one of the things I'd like to bring to your attention is strengthening the oversight and governance for the rules of police service boards. Locally in beautiful southwestern Ontario, you have a few municipal services. You've got the LaSalle Police Service, you've got the Windsor Police Service, you've got the Sarnia Police Service. And what we want to be able to do is for allowing our ability to convey the priorities directly to the police service boards of what is the priority of the government. And that help ensures communities receives policing services that are consistent across the province based on the priorities of the government. So this will allow us to do this. This will strengthen the oversight and the standards and governance on the police boards. And it will also strengthen the Inspector General of Policing. So that's one example. Another thing that we're looking at doing is holding commercial landlords to account if they knowingly lease commercial space to people that are conducting an illegal activity, such as, producing illegal drugs. We want to make sure that a landlord is not hiding behind a veil if they knowingly have leased space to a bad actor. And we want to do that. And one other thing, Patty, that I think is very important, and that is providing debt relief for victims of human trafficking who were forced or coerced into debt by their traffickers. That is something that is top of mind, and this piece of legislation will provide debt relief, which is very, very important.
Okay. When you did talk about the police service boards, will that change the look of how they're set up right now?
No, not at all. Not at all, Patty. Right now, on your municipal boards, you have the majority, which is selected by the municipality. The province appoints the minority. And I really want to give a shout out to the boards in southwestern Ontario. These are good boards, and they both represent people from the community who were selected by the municipality and local people that were selected by me. And this will not change it at all. What this does, it allows for continuity of information to go to the boards from the minister, from the local MPPs too, Patty, as to what are the priorities of the government. So they can be streamlined. And this way, the more our boards across Ontario reflect the priorities of the government to fight crime, to get guns off our streets, to get illegal drugs off our streets, then there will be greater uniformity for a police service to carry those priorities forward. And we think this is a great measure.
Also, the thing, and I think we heard about it last week, that you're going to help reduce the wait times for police record checks. That's, people who volunteer or they work with vulnerable populations as whether ECE or PSWs or whatever they're doing. You want to get those wait times down because I know I've heard from people that sometimes it's months.
Well, we've already taken steps to do that. And across Ontario, there's over 1 million vulnerable sector record checks that are processed on a very regular basis. What we want to do is make sure there's consistency for a person applying to get their record check completed. So what are we doing? We're allowing police services, again, you have 3 great police services in southwestern Ontario, to work with other police services through memorandums of understanding so that if Windsor Police gets a deluge and can't process everything on a quick timeline basis, they can get other police services to help do the back work on it. But it'll be seamless to a person applying in Windsor. Same thing in LaSalle, same thing in Sarnia. And that's important. We want people to volunteer. We want people who have applied to work in a hospital or a long-term care home to be able to get their vulnerable sector record checks. Those record checks are important because we don't want to lose the integrity of the important role that they play. We're not compromising on that. What we're doing is ensuring that there's a greater degree of consistency across the province, and for the first time allowing police services across the province to work with one another, to enter into memorandums, and to ask for help in processing the applications when they need to.
Okay. Well, it's a big bill, and I appreciate you coming on to explain parts of it. I know there's more to it than that, but thanks so much, Michael. I really appreciate your time.
Yeah, it's great to speak with you. And again, I look forward to being in Windsor. This Thursday, we have the Police Association of Ontario's annual meeting. I'm going to be speaking there Thursday night. I love coming down to Windsor. Every time, Patty, I can shout out, your 2 services that are really local to you in the Windsor area. That's the Windsor Police and LaSalle Police. I also want to shout out the fire services because they're amazing, but also gives me a chance to thank people in Sarnia. But love southwestern Ontario.
Thanks so much.
Great to be with you.
That's Michael Kerzner, the Solicitor General of Ontario. It's 4:55.